For 50 years, people have predicted the death of the dollar. The gold bugs in the 1970 seconds said it would collapse when Nixon abandoned the gold standard. It didn't. The deficit hawks in the 1980 seconds said it would collapse under Reagan's debt. It didn't. The China watchers in the 2000s said the yuan would replace it. It didn't. The crypto evangelists in the 2010 seconds said Bitcoin would make it obsolete. It didn't. The BRICS enthusiasts today say a new currency will dethrone it. It won't. The dollar hasn't collapsed. In fact, it's stronger than ever. More international trade is conducted in dollars than at any point in history. More foreign reserves are held in dollars. More debt is denominated in dollars. The dollar is the operating system of global finance. So here's my prediction. The dollar will collapse, but not by dying. It will collapse by transforming into something else entirely. Something that looks like money but functions like surveillance. Something that feels like currency but acts like control. Something that preserves American financial dominance while eliminating the last vestiges of financial freedom. The dollar won't be replaced by Bitcoin or yuan or gold. It will be replaced by itself in a new form that serves power in ways the current dollar never could. This is the story of the coming metamorphosis, the death of the dollar as we know it, and the birth of something much, much worse. 1. The problem with cash. To understand where we're going, you need to understand what the current dollar actually is, a problem for the people who run things. Cash is anonymous. When you hand someone a $20 bill, no one knows. No record is created. No database is updated. The transaction exists only in the memories of the parties involved. This anonymity is a feature for citizens. It's a bug for governments. Cash can't be tracked. Governments can't see what you're buying, who you're paying, or what you're doing with your money. Cash can't be controlled. If you have physical currency, you can spend it however you want. No one can freeze your cash. No one can block a cash transaction. No one can decide your cash isn't valid for certain purchases. Cash can't be programmed. A dollar is a dollar is a dollar. It works the same whether you're buying groceries or guns or political literature the government doesn't like. For most of history, this didn't matter. Governments couldn't track transactions anyway. The technology didn't exist. Now it does, and the existence of cash has become an obstacle to total financial visibility. Look at the trajectory. In the 1970 seconds, the Bank Secrecy Act required reporting of large cash transactions. In the 1980 seconds, money laundering became a crime. In the 2000s, the Patriot Act expanded financial surveillance. In the 2010 seconds, banks began closing accounts of legal businesses deemed high risk. Each step reduced the space where cash transactions could occur without scrutiny. The direction is clear, toward total visibility. Cash is the last holdout. It's about to fall. 2. The war on cash. The war on cash isn't a conspiracy theory, it's official policy across the developed world. India demonetized 86% of its currency in circulation overnight in 2016. The government gave citizens weeks to exchange large bills, then declared them worthless. The stated goal, fighting corruption. The actual effect, forcing transactions into the visible banking system. The European Union eliminated the €500 note in 2019. The stated reason, it was used for crime. The actual effect, making large cash transactions harder. Australia is debating cash payment limits. The UK has seen cash acceptance decline dramatically. Sweden is close to becoming the world's first cashless society. In the United States, the process is more gradual but unmistakable. Fewer businesses accept cash. Try paying cash at an airport or a highway toll booth. Many businesses have gone card only. Banks discourage cash. Large withdrawals trigger reports. Depositing your own money in large amounts can get your account frozen pending investigation. The $100 bill hasn't been updated in decades because there's no political will to make high-denomination cash more usable. Some have called for its elimination. The trajectory is toward a world where cash exists but is increasingly difficult to use, where having cash becomes suspicious, where the friction of using cash pushes everyone toward digital alternatives. And those digital alternatives can be watched. 3. What we have now. Let's understand the current system before we discuss what's coming. Today, most money is already digital. The numbers in your bank account aren't backed by physical cash sitting in a vault. They're entries in a database. When you pay with a credit card or Venmo or Apple Pay, You're moving numbers between databases. No physical currency is involved. But the current digital money system has limits from the government's perspective. Private intermediaries control the rails. Visa, MasterCard, banks, and payment processors sit between people and their money. They can see transactions, and they share data with government when required. But they're private companies with their own interests. Sometimes those interests diverge from government wishes. Sometimes they resist demands. Sometimes they're inefficient at surveillance. The private system has gaps. International transactions escape control. The SWIFT system enables international payments, but alternatives exist. Countries under sanction find workarounds. The dollar's dominance creates leverage but not total control. Programmable restrictions are limited. The government can freeze accounts and sanction entities, but it can't easily say, this dollar can only be spent on approved goods, or this dollar expires in 30 days, or this dollar can't be used to donate to this political cause. The current system enables surveillance and control, but imperfectly. The coming system will perfect it. 4. Enter the CBDC. Central Bank Digital Currency. CBDC. Remember this acronym. It's the future of money. A CBDC is digital currency issued directly by a central bank, not by commercial banks, not by payment companies, by the government itself. More than 130 countries are now researching, piloting, or launching CBDCs. This includes every major economy. The United States, China, the European Union, the UK, Japan, all are actively developing digital currencies. China is furthest along. The digital yuan is already in use by hundreds of millions of people. It's accepted at major retailers, used for government payments, and integrated into the major Chinese payment apps. The Federal Reserve has been more cautious but is actively researching a digital dollar. The European Central Bank is developing a digital euro. The Bank of England is designing a digital pound. These aren't theoretical, they're coming. The only questions are when and in what form. And the form matters enormously, because CBDCs aren't just digital versions of cash, they're something fundamentally different. 5. The surveillance upgrade. Here's what changes with a CBDC. Every transaction is visible. A CBDC creates a record of every payment, every purchase, every transfer. The central bank sees everything, not through subpoenas to banks, not through imperfect data sharing, directly, automatically, in real time. This isn't a side effect, it's the point. Central bank officials speak openly about the benefits of transaction visibility, catching tax evaders, stopping money laundering, preventing terrorism financing. The surveillance is a feature, not a bug. No more intermediaries to push back. In the current system, banks sometimes resist government demands. They have lawyers. They have compliance costs. They sometimes say no. With a CBDC, there's no intermediary. The central bank controls the ledger directly. There's no one to resist because there's no one in between. International transactions under total control. A CBDC can be designed to track or restrict international transfers. Want to send money abroad? The system sees it instantly. Want to receive money from certain countries? The system can block it. The dollar's current international dominance gives the US leverage through sanctions. A CBDC would give it total control. Cease. The programmable prison. Surveillance is just the beginning. The real power of CBDCs is programmability. Programmable money means money with conditions attached. Money that only works in certain ways. Money that does what the issuer wants, not what the holder wants. This sounds abstract. Let me make it concrete. Expiring money. A CBDC can be programmed to lose value over time or expire completely. During a recession, the government wants people to spend. With programmable money, they can issue currency that must be spent within 90 days or it vanishes. This isn't theoretical. Chinese officials have discussed expiration dates for the digital yuan to stimulate spending. Restricted money. A CBDC can be programmed to work only for certain purchases. Welfare benefits that can only buy approved food items. Stimulus payments that can only be spent domestically. Climate credits that can't be used for gasoline. The government decides what your money can buy. The code enforces it automatically. Conditional money. A CBDC can be programmed to require conditions for use. Social credit score too low, your money doesn't work. Vaccine status not updated, your money doesn't work. Posted something problematic online, your money doesn't work. This already happens in China, where social credit scores can restrict travel and purchases. A CBDC makes it seamless. Geographic money. A CBDC can be programmed to work only in certain locations, can't be spent outside the country, can't be spent in certain neighborhoods, can't be transferred to certain people. The possibilities are endless, and they're all restrictions on your freedom. 7. The Canada Preview. Think this can't happen in a Western democracy? It already did. In February 2022, Canadian truckers protested COVID restrictions by occupying Ottawa. You can debate whether the protest was justified. What happened next is undeniable. The Canadian government invoked the Emergencies Act. Under this authority, banks froze accounts of protesters and anyone who donated to them. No court order, no criminal charges, just administrative action. People who gave $50 to a legal protest found their bank accounts frozen. They couldn't pay rent, they couldn't buy groceries. Their money was there but inaccessible. This happened in Canada, one of the oldest democracies in the world, with legal protections and a charter of rights. The banks complied because they had no choice. The government demanded it, and the government regulates them. Now imagine this with a CBDC. No banks in the middle, no compliance delays. The government doesn't ask a bank to freeze your account. The government just does it, instantly, automatically. The Canadian trucker situation was a preview. It showed what's possible when financial access becomes conditional on political behavior. A CBDC would make it effortless. 8. The privacy fiction. CBDC proponents promise privacy protections. Don't worry, they say. We'll build in anonymity for small transactions. We'll limit government access. We'll protect civil liberties. This is fiction. First, any privacy protections can be removed later. Once the infrastructure exists, the rules can change. A crisis, an emergency, a new political climate, the protections evaporate. Second, privacy in these proposals is always conditional. Anonymous up to a limit. Private unless certain conditions are met. Protected except when the government decides otherwise. Third, the entire point of a CBDC is visibility and control. Building in strong privacy defeats the purpose. Central banks aren't doing this to give you more freedom. They're doing it to increase their power. The privacy promises are there to ease adoption. Once everyone is on the system, the promises can be quietly forgotten. Look at any surveillance technology in history. It always expands. The limits are always temporary. The mission always creeps. A CBDC will be no different. 9. The China Model. China's digital yuan shows what's coming. The People's Bank of China has been testing the digital yuan since 2020. It's now used for billions in transactions. It's integrated with Alipay and WeChat Pay, the dominant payment apps. The features are instructive. Real name registration. You can't use the digital yuan anonymously. Your identity is attached to your wallet. Transaction monitoring. The central bank sees every transaction in real time. They know what you bought, where, and when. Programmable features. The digital yuan supports expiration dates and usage restrictions. The infrastructure exists, even if it's not always used. Cross-border integration. China is working with other countries on CBDC interoperability, a digital currency zone outside Western control. China is building this openly because they don't pretend to value financial privacy. The Communist Party sees financial surveillance as a feature. Western governments want the same capabilities. They just can't say so openly. So they frame CBDCs as innovation, as inclusion, as modernization. The end result is the same. 10. The resistance that won't work. People see this coming. They're looking for exits. Unfortunately, most exits are closing. Cash. Cash will be marginalized, not banned outright. Having cash will become suspicious. Using cash will become difficult. The option will exist in theory and disappear in practice. Cryptocurrency. Bitcoin was supposed to be the escape. Decentralized, uncensorable, beyond government control. But crypto on-ramps and off-ramps are already controlled. Exchanges require identity verification. Large transactions are reported. The blockchain is permanently visible, making every Bitcoin transaction traceable forever. Governments haven't banned crypto because they don't need to. They've made it visible. When CBDCs arrive, crypto will remain a speculative asset, but it won't be money. You won't pay rent in Bitcoin. Gold. Gold is heavy, hard to divide, and difficult to use for daily transactions. It might preserve wealth, but it won't provide financial freedom in a CBDC world. Foreign accounts. Information sharing agreements mean your foreign accounts are visible to your home government. Moving money abroad doesn't hide it. Bata. Works for small transactions, doesn't scale. You can't pay your mortgage in chickens. The exits are closing because the system is being designed to close them. Financial control requires comprehensiveness. Leaks must be plugged. 11. The transition. How does this happen? Not overnight. Gradually, then suddenly. Phase 1. Coexistence. CBDCs launch as optional. You can use digital dollars or keep using cash and cards. Nothing changes for most people. Adoption is encouraged through convenience. Instant transfers, no fees, easy integration. Early adopters are enthusiasts and low information users who just want the newest thing. Phase 2. Incentives. Using CBDCs brings advantages: faster tax refunds, easier government benefits, discounts and rewards. The friction of not using CBDCs increases. Cash becomes harder to use. Banks reduce cash services. Retailers add fees for non-CBDC payments. Phase 3. Requirements. Certain transactions require CBDCs. Government payments are CBDC only. Regulated industries must accept CBDCs. Tax payments must be in CBDCs. The CBDC network becomes essential infrastructure. Phase 4. Completion. Cash is obsolete. Non-CBDC digital payments are marginalized or banned. The CBDC is money. Money is the CBDC. Anyone outside the system is outside the economy. Financial unpersonhood. This process will take years, maybe a decade. It will feel gradual. Each step will seem reasonable. And then one day you'll wake up and realize your money only works if the government lets it. 12. What remains? The dollar won't collapse in the way the doomsayers predict. There won't be hyperinflation or wheelbarrows of worthless cash. The dollar will remain the world's dominant currency. It will just become something else. A surveillance tool that tracks your every purchase. A control mechanism that can restrict your spending. A programmable system that enforces compliance automatically. The same logo on the currency, the same numbers in your account, but a fundamentally different relationship between money and power. This is the metamorphosis. The dollar doesn't die, it evolves into something worse. And this is what the collapse predictions miss. They imagine the dollar failing. The real risk is the dollar succeeding too well in ways that serve power at the expense of freedom. Conclusion. The last window. There's a window right now, a few years, maybe a decade, before the infrastructure is built and the transition is complete. What happens in this window matters. Public awareness can slow adoption. If people understand what CBDCs really mean, they might resist, might demand privacy protections with teeth, might reject the convenience in favor of freedom. Political organization can shape implementation. CBDCs are a policy choice. Different designs are possible. Genuine privacy is technically achievable if the political will exists. Alternative systems can be built. Decentralized technologies, privacy-preserving tools, parallel economies, these can be strengthened before the walls close in. But the window is closing. China's CBDC is operational. The Fed is researching, the ECB is designing, the infrastructure is being built, the decisions are being made. If we wait until the system is complete, it will be too late. The metamorphosis will be finished, the new dollar will be here, and we'll discover what money becomes when it stops being yours. If this opened your eyes to what's coming, hit that subscribe button, because the time to understand these changes is before they happen, not after. See you in the comments, and remember, the currency in your pocket isn't just money, it's freedom, and freedom is what's about to change.